Some campsites are just beautiful. Beautiful sunsets, gorgeous starry nights that you can sit out and enjoy. Other campsites are calm and peaceful and quiet. Then there's a campsite that's just any port in a storm. You're just glad to be someplace snug, and that's where this video starts out. Oh yeah, it's got to be gusting 50 to 60. We're just sitting this one out still. Thinking about how to cook lunch. Something simple. Some chili, maybe a ham sandwich. We're camped off of Old West Trail, just south of Torrey, Utah. And we're at the lower elevations of it. It goes way up into the mountains, and we went up there yesterday, and I think, well, there's a lake up on top, and there may be camping up there, but the road was real washboard and narrow, and I thought about my brakes coming back down, but there was no camping. Along the road going up, there was just a couple spots where people with their ATV trailers were backed in. So we came back down, and this campsite's actually pretty nice. I don't suggest going up to the top unless you research campsites up there first. See what you got. So anyways, down here it's been nice. We had a real windy night last night, and then the winds are supposed to pick up this afternoon even more. So this is just a nice place to be for now. Been out exploring, poking around in the bushes and stuff, and the smell of sagebrush and pine trees and juniper is just amazing. I love it. Well, Linda and I were just talking about how today reminds us of sailing on our boat and being in an anchorage and having a storm go through and the wind shrieking, and about every 15 minutes you'd get up and look out the companionway and make sure your anchor wasn't dragging. But other than that, there was nothing you could do, and that's kind of what we got here. Where we're camped out here in south central Utah. The wind is shrieking. You can hear it rattling the overhead vent. And the dust is blowing by outside. It's been gusting 50 all day long. But all we can do is kind of stay inside and wait for it to pass.
Yeah, I'd get blown away.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd blow her away. She'd be like Dorothy flying through the wind, you know?
Thought about that.
Hey, just in the news, there was a lady that was in her house, and the tornado picked her house up. And deposited her miles away in her house, and she was still okay. We just saw that today. She said she blacked out, but modern day Dorothy. Been a blustery day. Well, we left the Old Western Trail camping area this morning, and now we're heading down. We just headed through Boulder, Utah, and now we're heading down into Escalante. Right, Linda?
Yep.
And up ahead of us here is, I think it's referred to as the Devil's Backbone. And if that's not what it's referred to, that's what it should be. It should be. I'm going to let Linda take the camera now. We'll film this as we drive across. It's pretty impressive.
Here we go.
No shoulder, and about 1,000-foot drop off on either side of the road. No guardrails. Woohoo! Oh, look, a 14% grade. That's a lot.
Oh.
I'll just keep my eyes on the road, and you can go ahead and just enjoy the view, Linda. You need to get closer to the edge there for the video?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, we're currently camped up Mud Spring Road, just on, oh, maybe 20 miles or so west of Escalante, Utah. Linda's in the process of making coffee. I found something I want to show you. I was just out walking through the woods here, just doing a little exploring, and right up here, not too far from camp, I saw that log on the ground, right? I know it's hard for you to tell how big it is in this wide-angle lens, but it's about 16, 18, 20 feet long. It's about 10 inches in diameter, but you see it's been moved, and some animal moved it to get at the grubs underneath. Well, the only thing that does that in my book is bear, so I started looking for the claw marks, and sure enough, let me show you carefully, they're not very evident, but right here you can see the claw marks. Hope you can see that. So basically he grabbed it with one paw, he or she, and gave it a pull. Must be a pretty big bear. Yeah, whenever we camp, Linda and I always go poking around in the woods. We like to know what's around us. And like we always tell you, we always like to know who's been here before us. So we always look for the old bottle dumps or old cans from the 20s and the 30s and stuff. And this is a mining area. So there's a bunch of that kind of stuff. I like to go poke around. It's interesting. Now, what do we have here? I don't know. If it was mountain lion, it would have fangs on the front, but that part's missing. Do those look like the teeth of an ungulate? Not to me. They're not ground smooth. Those are for tearing things apart. Maybe one of you knows. If anybody knows what this is, would you comment, please? I'm thinking mountain lion. Bacon, eggs, and chili. We like to eat a big meal in the mid-afternoon, like nothing in the morning, and then a big meal in the mid-afternoon, and then something small at night. I don't know, seems to work. Sure smells good. Linda and I have been doing that intermittent fasting since, last fall. I'm down 25 pounds. She's down a lot too. Yeah, it all started when we went on one of our trips, and this past fall, and I came back 14 pounds lighter, and I got thinking, what did we do different? Well, the thing was, we were just so active all the time that we just ate when we were hungry. And, you know, I was still eating potato chips and cookies and stuff like that. But just when we were hungry, we were eating and not having full meals. So my daughter suggested we do the intermittent fasting, and as you can see, it's not so much what you eat, it's when you eat it. So if you're interested in losing weight, I'm not going to push it or anything, but look up intermittent fasting. And if you need to shed some pounds, you might like that. It's been working for us. Well, I got to witness something interesting this morning. 3 hound dogs came down this road, and they were baying, and they ran up the hill to the right, up the mountain to the right. Right behind him, a man riding a mule came into view. He got down off the mule and looked at the ground for tracks. And he got back on that mule and rode up the mountainside after those hounds. The man looked every bit like Walter Brennan, but he couldn't walk too well when he got off that mule, but let me tell you, he rode the mule up that mountain. I think they're after mountain lion. I can still hear the hound dogs in the distance up there. Once in a while, I still hear them bay.
Howdy.
Howdy. Any luck?
What's that?
Any luck?
Not today. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Come here. Come on, guys.
So what do you think? Mountain lion? I think so. Anyways, it'd be nice if you left a comment if you know better. Check it out.
Morning. That also means there's a pissed off mountain lion around too. Yay!
We really love the history of the West, and that's why we do these trips. We just absolutely love it. One thing we've found is that we've never seen this mentioned anywhere else. Maybe you have, and if you have, please comment below. We find trails of flakes. I mentioned it in a video last year. You know, flakes is what happens when an Indian was making an arrowhead, and the pieces that he was knocking off, they make these razor sharp little flakes. And some are hunks, some are flakes. We find trails. One thing I did learn was that the Native American men would take a larger hunk, and while they were traveling from point A to point B, they would be knocking it down into smaller, more manageable pieces, and then in the evening times around the fire or whenever, they would go ahead and make knives and scrapers and arrowheads from those pieces. That's what makes these trails of flakes. And we've found 5 or 6 trails in our travel. And you know when you're on the trail, because the trail may be 100 yards wide, or it may be 50 feet wide, just depending on where you're at. We think we may be onto a trail right here, and I wanted to show you. Of course, these are what I'm talking about. These are like an agate. I think these are an agate. Isn't that a beautiful piece? Anyways, there's kind of a pile of them here. Linda's got one right there.
There's one sticking out of the dirt.
Pretty one's got some red on the end of it. But we want to travel down and see what we find along the way here. There's a piece here. Linda's got a large piece there.
There, it came out right there.
Now I'll just show you one more here before we start to look for the trail itself. And we know that it's been worked on both sides. It's been knocked off a bigger piece. Beautiful stuff though. But let's start looking. Did you find one?
Yeah. Little ones around it.
Here's one over here.
Here's more with the red in it.
Yeah, down this way. Let's try looking out this way. Beautiful blood red piece. What'd you say it looked like, Linda?
Well, I just saw a picture of a Wagyu steak.
Are you hungry?
With all the fat running through it.
Well, having grown up in the Pacific Northwest, where the only way to walk through the woods is behind a bulldozer. This forest is pretty special. It's ponderosa pine, pinyon pine, juniper, sagebrush, and cactus. But the thing is, you can just take off and walk right through it. You can see over my shoulder here. It's really nice, and the aroma is incredible. What a beautiful place. Well, we ended up finding the trail. It took off at about a 45-degree angle from where we started. And because of all the pine needles on the ground, we didn't pick it up again for several hundred yards. But it's late afternoon. We decided to come out and try it again, and we're finding a trail of these cutting out through the woods. Probably from, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of years ago. Just a native travel route, that's all it is. Well, it's that time of the evening for cracking open a beer. Hey.
Hey. Sorry.
Even out in the woods, I can't get her off her phone.
It's the girls.
Linda and I are here in Cannonville, Utah, and we're with John and Joanne of Scenic Driveways. We'll put a link to their video here down below this video. They've been showing us a nice time. They took us out for award-winning hamburgers at a little spot miles from here. They've been #1 in the state of Utah for 4 years straight for their hamburgers, and boy was it good. Now we just finished banana cream pie and chocolate Reese's cream pie. You know that diet I was talking about? We'll get back to that tomorrow.
Both of my stomachs are full.
It is nice barbecue.
Yeah,
so are you the cook?
Yeah. When I used to cook, we had the only dogs on the block that begged for Alka-Seltzer. Our friend Ardale bought us that grill for a going-away present when we left Sheridan.
It's a nice grill.
Yeah.
What kind is it?
It's called the Volcano 3.
Cool.
And it comes with a bag, a round bag, and it all goes in the bag and zips up and it has a handle. It works pretty good.
Yeah, nice thing to have.
Yeah. When you're using charcoal or wood, it has the damper right here. So you can adjust your heat. Yeah.
And what kind of beer is that you're drinking?
Non-alcoholic.
I'm making fun of you.
Are you making a video?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. I don't drink. That's about as rowdy as I get. Non-alcoholic beer.
Well, yesterday Linda and I spent a really nice day with John, or most people call him JT, and Joanne of Scenic Driveways. And we had a great day together. It was a lot of fun. Went for a long drive, explored some places, and had great lunch with them, which they bought for us. That was very nice of them. Thank you, John, or JT and Joanne. I've been calling him John for so long. Anyways, Linda and I are kind of turning towards home, and this is my least favorite part of any trip that we've ever made, is when we turn back and start heading north again for Montana. And I'm just trying to decide on a route going back. There's 2 ways to go back. One is to book it back and just get on the freeway and head back. I hate that. And the other way is to try to find a way to explore your way back. And I kind of think that's what we're going to do. It might take an extra day or two, but I think we're going to head over into Nevada and go up through Nevada. We'll see. Well, Linda and I chose to come on over into Nevada before heading north. Now, we could have been going up I-15, Provo, Salt Lake, all of that, 8 lanes of traffic. But we came up here to head up Highway 93 instead. And this is what it's like. Sorry about the wind noise. Peaceful. Now, the thing about Nevada is, let me step around here in the shadow of the trailer so the wind's not so bad. Nevada is 97% BLM, public land. So when you're driving up the highway, you can see it disappearing into the distance over here on the left. Any dirt road you see, just about any dirt road you see, you can pull off on that dirt road, drive back into the pinyon pine forest, and camp. Sometimes you find some pretty special places. Doesn't look like much, but there's some real gems out here. Well, we ended up in a nice place. It's not a remote camp, but we found a free BLM camping spot. It'll do.
And not as dusty.
It's not dusty, it's gravel. Hey, the first dirt road we went down though, it was like ankle deep in dust. Don't camp in those places. It's a really beautiful morning in Nevada. Glad to be here. It amazes me how you can be in Utah with its red castles in the sky and the beautiful sandstone, Navajo sandstone rock formations. Just incredibly beautiful. And then when you come into Nevada, which is still beautiful, it's totally different. It's mountains and basins. And if you were to fly over Nevada from east to west or west to east, it's a mountain range and then a basin, and then another mountain range and another basin. It looks like waves on the ocean from the air. Really incredible. Just a beautiful place to be though. The air feels great here. You know, I was thinking this morning, first time, I was thinking this morning about, you know, Linda and I, when we come out here, you know, our thing is looking for old Native American habitation sites and, I don't know, broken arrowheads, and just looking for signs of man that had been here before us. And we get a kick out of that. When I see something, I always think about the individual that dropped it and what his life was like. But that's our excuse for being out here. Years ago, I had a boat repair business on Lake Union in Seattle. Linda and I had already done a lot of extensive sailing, ocean sailing. You know, we sailed from the mainland to Hawaii down to the South Pacific. And well, when I had this boat repair, my employees were all racing sailors, and they'd keep trying to get me to crew on the racing boats on Friday evenings on Lake Union. There was always a sailboat race, and they'd, "Come on, Rick, you'll love it." And I'd go, no. If I pick up the anchor, I'm going 1,000 miles. I ain't going putzing around on some lake. Well, one Friday evening I did go, and I had the time of my life. There's strategy involved. You know, sailboat racing, I told them, I says, it's like watching the grass grow, you guys. Well, it's not. You got to make sure, there's so many adjustments on a sailboat, you know, and you've got the main and the jib or the Genoa and the spinnaker, and there's so many adjustments, of course, I knew all that. But you're constantly making the tiniest little adjustment to try to pick up an extra tenth of a knot. That, and then the strategy involved in trying to win and outguess whoever's next to you. Well, I had a blast, and then it dawned upon me. It wasn't about the sailing. I mean, it wasn't about the racing. I'm sorry, it wasn't about the racing. The racing was an excuse to go sailing. And what Linda and I do out here is an excuse to go on a trip. It's an excuse to get out here and walk and climb the hills and putz around and the metal detecting we do. We do it all for the sheer joy of getting out and doing it. So for some people it's golf. It's an excuse to get out and move around, be out in the sunshine and have a good time. For some people it might be artwork, you know, painting landscapes, or who knows, whatever. What I'm saying here is find an excuse to get outside and get on these trips. Take your car, take your favorite RV, get out on the roads of America, follow the back roads, because on the freeways, all you see is the glitzy places and the stores and people who want to sell you something. That's all you see. Get out on the back roads, learn what the real America is like, and find an excuse to get outside and walk around, no matter what it is. Are you into archery? Get out and do a little archery practice, or Fishing, that's a great one, you know. Whatever it is, get out and about and enjoy this place. It's incredible. Well, good morning. As you might be able to tell by the lava rock behind me, we're at Craters of the Moon National Monument in Idaho, the lower central part of Idaho. And we're at the campground here, which is a beautiful campground. It's crowded, you know, there's a lot of campsites and everything. We drove hard to get here yesterday. Came through some major wind and thunderstorm activity that we actually had to get off the road in a kind of a hurry because it was threatening to blow the trailer over. Boy, this has been a trip of wind everywhere. But this morning is peaceful and calm. I'm speaking in hushed voice because you can hear conversation across this camp pretty easy. But Linda and I will be home today. Kind of looking forward to it. We got another trip planned here shortly, and we want to get on with that. Kind of a special one for you guys. We're going to visit some ghost towns in Montana. And Montana has its share of ghost towns, and a lot of the buildings are still up, and it's pretty incredible. So we'll check that out.